Yo, what is going on, guys? It is me, Jolts, and welcome back to another video on the channel, guys. In this video, we are back with yet another episode of Weapon versus the Legion boss fight. In this video, we got the brand new pistol that just got added to Cold War Zombies the day I'm recording this, the AMP63, or the AMP63, whatever you call it. Now, this thing is actually pretty good in this boss fight. It's not as good as other weapons that we've covered, like the RPD or the M60, but it's not as bad as the ballistic knife. It's a lot better. This thing is actually really good for taking down his armor. I think it took around 5 clips to take it down, and this thing shoots pretty fast, so that doesn't take long at all, really. Whenever you're shooting his armor, this thing does 960 damage. Sometimes it was doing 1,216 damage, but I don't know if there's like a even weaker spot besides just his chest. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments if he has like 2 weaknesses. Like, you can shoot his armor, and then there's a special area that you can do even more damage to his armor. I don't know, but I have a feeling you guys know what I'm talking about, so let me know down below in the comments. Also, let me know down below in the comments what weapons you guys want to see up against the Legion boss fight. So far, we have done the Street Sweeper, the Ballistic Knife, the RPD, the M60, the Crossbow, or the R1 Shadow Hunter, and this is episode 5, the AMP63, or the AMP63. I'm just going to call it the AMP63. If you get mad that I'm calling it the AMP63, I'm sorry. But whenever I read the name, my brain wants to say AMP63. I don't know why. Something else I don't know why, and yes, trust me, I know that was a horrible transition. But why is this pistol so good in this boss fight? This thing just shreds through his armor. Like, it does so much damage to his armor. I think it's even better than the RPD was for taking out his armor. Because this thing shoots a lot faster than the RPD does. And even though the RPD does more damage, it just feels like this thing takes down his armor so much faster than any other weapon we've covered so far in this series. The only reason why this thing is not better than every single weapon we've covered so far in this series is because I don't know why, but I was not able to take down his orbs with just the AMP63, or the AMP63. Also, this thing has crazy damage range. Like, you can be across the boss fight area, shooting at the Legion, and it'll still do as much damage as it does if you're right up in his face. Like, this thing is that good. I cannot stress this enough. This thing is really, really good for taking down his armor. I 100% recommend taking this into the boss fight. Like I said earlier, I was trying to find out why I was getting more damage when I was shooting in a certain area. So that's why I'm just shooting at random parts of his body. Like, sometimes I'm shooting his legs, sometimes I'm shooting his chest, his face. I was just trying to see where I have to shoot to get 1,216 damage. Also, if you guys could let me know down below in the comments, what parts of his body are immune to damage? Like, sometimes I shoot the Legion and it says immune, and I don't know where I'm shooting, and I don't know why it's showing that he's immune. One of these times I'm going to stream, and I'm just going to go into the boss fight a couple times and just see where I shoot to do the most damage and where do I shoot to get the immune to pop up on the screen. Because that would really help me, because even though I've been in this boss fight around 10 times and completed it around 7 times, I still don't know where to shoot to actually get the most damage or where he's immune at. So as you guys can see right here, I just took him down, I popped my Ether Shroud, and I'm spraying into the orb, and it's doing 2,432 damage per shot. And I don't know why. It's just not enough damage. Later on in the boss fight, I try shooting it for a little bit with my Ray K, which is my secondary, and then I destroy the orb with the AMP63. Which, that don't make no sense to me, to be honest, because even though the Ray K does shoot a little faster, my Ray K was pack-a-punched once. Not twice, not 3 times, just 1 time. So the Ray K was actually pretty weak. It was only doing 840 damage per shot. So the Ray K was doing a third of the damage that the AMP63 was. And like I said, even though the Ray K shoots a little faster, I don't understand how I was easily able to take down his orbs that way. But when I'm only using the weapon that does a lot of damage and still shoots pretty fast, I can't take down his orb. I don't understand that. I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but I was able to take down his orbs really easy that way, as compared to just shooting him with the AMP63. By the way, right there while I was rambling, I took down his armor in 26 seconds. Less than 30 seconds it took for the AMP63 to take down the Legion boss's armor. By the way, if you guys are having trouble completing this boss fight, this is how you complete it. First off, you want to bring whatever weapon you want with brain rot on it, or turned, whatever you want to call it. You want to bring that AAT on your primary weapon. And for your secondary weapon, you could either run another normal weapon with dead wire on it, or you could run a wonder weapon. I tend to flip between those two. Normally, I'll bring 2 normal weapons. One weapon will have brain rot, and my secondary weapon will have dead wire on it. And every 30 seconds, whenever I see a mini boss on the ground, like a mimic or a mangler, I shoot him with my brain rot weapon to actually turn him, and the turned boss enemy will kill some of the zombies and help you actually get some of the zombies off your back so you actually have time to shoot the Legion boss. And if your secondary weapon is dead wire, whenever you get a horde of zombies, just shoot your dead wire weapon at the horde of zombies until the dead wire activates and chains a good chunk of the zombies together. You also want to run Ether Shroud as your field upgrade, not Frenzy Guard, and I'll explain why really quick. I did it before in a previous episode of this series, but I will give a brief summary right now why Ether Shroud is the best field upgrade to bring into this boss fight. Ether Shroud, you have 2 activations. Out of all the field upgrades, it takes the least amount of kills to charge up. When you break the Legion boss's armor and he goes down and you have to shoot his orb, Ether Shroud will get the zombies off of you instead of Frenzy Guard, which just slows them down. With Ether Shroud, you pop it, and not only do they not attack you, but they also run away from you. So you'll end up having even more time to take out the orb with Ether Shroud as compared to Frenzy Guard. And if you're wondering where you're going to get all your armor from, this is where your turned weapon comes in. You shoot a turned boss and he takes out other zombies and other bosses which have a chance to drop an armor plate. And whenever the turned effect runs out on him and he dies, he also has a chance to drop an armor plate or a full armored vest. Also, whenever he dies, he will turn 3 random enemies surrounding him. So if there's a bunch of boss enemies around the Mangler or the Mimic, whatever you have turned, there's a good chance that whenever your original turned zombie dies, he will turn 3 more boss enemies, which will do the same exact thing that I just said, but then you have 3 more chances to get an armored vest or an armor plate. So unless you're not taking out the zombies, which I've kind of forgot to during this video, I was just so surprised on how good the AMP63 was, then you will most likely never run out of armor. Now it's time for me to list my attachments. Now, for this boss fight, I didn't have any special attachments because I went into this game of Outbreak with my AMP63 only being level 1. So the attachments I had here were just random attachments that I got because I re-rolled the attachments at the armor stand. But the following are the attachments that I would recommend that you guys use if you're going to use this in the boss fight. For the muzzle, you want to run the Sock'em Eliminator. I still don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. For the barrel, you either want to run the Cavalry Lancer or the 6.4-inch Task Force. For the body, you want to run the Ember Sighting Point. For the magazine, you want to put on the Salvo 22-round Fast Mag. And for the handle, you either want to run the Speed Tape or the Fill Tape. You could actually run any of the first 3 handles, the Speed Tape, the Drop Shot Wrap, or the Fill Tape, but I would not recommend running the last 3. Because I found it really helpful while I was doing this boss fight to hip fire at the boss because, like I said at the beginning of the video, this thing has incredible damage range. So I found myself hip firing the boss a good amount of the time. And if I had one of the last 3 handles on it, then it would have given my AMP63 negative sprint to fire time and negative shooting move speed. And both of those you do not want to have. The reason why this thing is so good in the boss fight is because you're incredibly mobile with this thing and it does a lot of damage. Which leads me into the rating for this weapon. Overall, I would give this a 7 out of 10. Like I just said, you're incredibly mobile with this thing, it does a lot of damage, and the damage range on this thing is so good, especially for a pistol. This thing has incredible damage range. If only this thing was a little better at taking out his orb, it would probably be a 9 or even a 10 out of 10. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'm running out of footage here, so I'm going to speed up this outro. I rambled for way too long, but hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're new, make sure you share this video with anybody else who plays Cold War Zombies. Also, comment down below what weapons you guys want to see up against the Legion boss fight next. Just make sure you're not commenting a repeat weapon. Let me know what you guys think about the AMP63 down below in the comments. And with that being said, this is Jolts, signing out. Peace!